So how would games help the city of Vallejo quickly gather inputs and feedback and help the community collaborate with the city and city leadership to produce a budget and priorities so that everyone wins? Well, let's use a case study. And it starts back in 2011 with the city of San Jose. And they had a challenge with their pension budgets. They were incredibly high, and they needed to make some hard decisions about their city budget. They wanted to include the community to make sure that their needs were being met so that everyone wins. But they also knew that if you include over 100 community leaders, that's a really long process. You'll need to get surveys and validation surveys and other discussions going, and that will take months and months. And they didn't have that amount of time. They had actually a 3-hour time period. So they contacted Luke Homan. So some background on Luke. He is known for working on games to get business results. He wrote a book called Innovation Games where he outlines 8 games that businesses can use to provide those results and get teams to work together and work together better. So they worked with Luke to design a game, and they used the framework of buy a feature, which they used for a budget item. So what they did is they had multiple tables where they had community leaders in groups of 6 to 8. The community leaders would be given a budget amount. No one had enough budget to buy any budget item on their own, and the table didn't have enough money to buy for everything. They had to prioritize and make some hard decisions. So after they went through this process, they were able to find a prioritization quickly, again within 3 hours, and everyone was quite pleased with the process in the end. Now, when it comes to what Vallejo could do, what you could do is something quite similar, is possibly do this virtually, because it does accommodate a virtual component. So you could use something like Google Sheets to record the amounts. So what we would need to do is first, we'd need to get a list of priorities from you and budget like ballpark numbers that we could use for the game. Then we would play the game with the community. Maybe we would have 4 nights of 4 or so many sessions. We could give you somewhere between 90 to 120 people. So that's a great sample set size to get a good idea of prioritization in the community. And from there, we could take that back, all the results back to you guys to play the game with you as a leadership committee and some of your key leaders in your teams. Now, I have been trained by Luke Homan, so I did participate in the 2011 San Jose Games. I was a facilitator at one of the tables. I have been trained by Luke Homan. Years ago, I've used this game since. I've used it within other teams in business. So one case study from my own experience is I worked with a team who had 3 product teams who didn't get along. We played the game. At one point, one of the product managers said to one of the other product managers, "Your product doesn't matter." That's how much tension was in the group. By the end of the game, they came together, they got a prioritization that everyone was happy with. Actually, senior management was more than happy that this group that wasn't getting along finally got along, and they were able to build a plan for their prioritization for their own team for producing products. Now, another thing to keep in mind too, you may be wondering, why games? How does this help? Well, there's different types of communication out there. You have informational, you have transactional, you have decision-making, influential, relationship building, and then collaboration and brainstorming. That's kind of at the height of communication and connection. You can't collaborate and solve problems if you don't have relationships built. It just doesn't really work. So in the process of collaborating and finding a solution, you're building great relationships. So that's how this can help also encourage team building throughout the process. Also to note that games are an effective way to keep people focused, to get a task accomplished quickly. So that's one of the great things about this game is within 2 hours, you can figure out the prioritization that a group has, right? Or what they have in mind. There are also different tools that are out there for different types of games. If you're interested and curious, there's a site called Tasty Cupcakes. I know it's a cute name, but it's used throughout a lot of the software industry. Again, it's tasks to help people focus and to stay and to work together to achieve a goal. Oftentimes these games are almost like simulations, so people can better understand what others are going through and how others think. And that's the beauty of this game as well, is the prioritization aspect. So I hope this was helpful, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks so much and have a great day.